Hey guys, welcome back to another Project Curatio interview, and today we have two student athletes, Isaac Wong and Jordan Tan. So, can both of you just give us a brief introduction of yourselves?
Hi guys, I'm Isaac from Sec 3 and I'm part of the Hwa team.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan from Sec 3 and I'm part of the track and field team.
So how did you guys get into your sport, and when did you start to see that you had a potential and passion to compete in the particular sport that you were involved in?
I joined Ocean in primary 1 as a CCA and I found that I had the potential to do well in this sport when my coaches encouraged me to compete in the national school games.
I first got into track and field when I won my school's high jump competition when I was in primary 4, and the teachers invited me to train with the track and field team.
Can both of you talk about your DSA experience? So, could you just share with us your preparation for the DSA interview and the experience?
Before the sports trials, I increased the number of training sessions just to keep myself in tip-top condition. The sports trials went well and my performance exceeded my expectations. For the interview, I prepared typical interview questions like, why would you want to enter this school, etc. The interview didn't go as planned as all the questions were in Chinese.
For my DS experience, I was invited to train with the Hwa track and field team when I was in primary 6 to experience how training would feel like. And as for the interview and the trials, I actually didn't prepare much, but I just continued my training, which was 4 times a week.
So how did both of you feel throughout your DSA experience?
I was definitely nervous and concerned before the sports trials because a few months before the DSA trial, I sprained my ankle and I didn't want the injury to relapse again. But thankfully, my seniors were there to calm me down and support me throughout the whole process. The interview was slightly more stressful as I was unsure about the questions, but overall, it was still okay.
When I was training with the Hwa Chong track and field team, the seniors made me feel very welcome, and they also shared with me their good experiences that they had in the school. This made me feel very reassured that this was the right school for me. As for the trials and interview, I did not feel too nervous as I knew I had prepared well for them.
So, were there any setbacks or sports injuries during your experience?
Setbacks and injuries are common for athletes. When I was younger, I was not confident about my abilities and felt that I was incompetent to represent my school. I overcame this by training harder and getting the confidence I need. I also sustained multiple injuries along the way, but by giving myself ample time to rest and using the RICE method, rest, ice, compression, elevation, I managed to recover from it.
As for me, of course, there are times when you win and sometimes you don't. I definitely felt disappointed when I don't win, but I learned that you just need to pick yourself up and move on. I have also experienced many injuries throughout my training, such as back and ankle injuries. I'll usually give myself time to rest before my next training so I can be fit enough to train. And I'll sometimes also visit a physiotherapist to speed up my recovery.
So what would be some of your advice to other younger athletes and future DSA applicants?
You have to find a balance between your studies and sports, and this will be much tougher as expectations will be much higher and training sessions will be longer. Not getting injured is really important, as injuries will force you to stop training for a period of time, and this disrupts the balance. We can prevent injuries by warming up before carrying out the activities and not being too ambitious and overexerting yourself while training. Furthermore, even when we are not training, we should be careful all the time, even when it's not doing training, because injuries can happen anywhere and anytime, such as when you're playing games with your friends or day-to-day exercises.
In secondary school, the training intensity will definitely increase. There'll be more training sessions, and each session will be a longer duration. The transition from primary school to secondary school will be a bit tough for some people. You have to make sure you have sufficient rest and not overtrain until you get badly injured. It's also important not to get upset and dwell over any injuries that may pop up during training, as they are part and parcel of every athlete's training and is what motivates us to work hard and come back stronger. As long as you put in the effort, anyone can recover from an injury and return to their peak performance.